Hey everyone, today I'm going to do a very quick video showing you how to divide Pulmonaria, aka lungwort. For whatever reason, this is the most requested tutorial I get as far as dividing a specific perennial. Everyone wants to know how to divide Pulmonaria, so let's do it. And the good news is that it's not difficult. Fall is a better time to do it, just based purely on the fact that lungwort blooms in spring, and usually you divide plants in the opposite season of when they bloom. You can really, this is a tough plant. You can divide Pulmonaria really almost any time you want. The one we're gonna be doing today is Diane Claire, a variety that I particularly like. So you can see that right here we have a grouping of 3. This clump I have already divided earlier today, so it's looking like a little sad. We're gonna talk about that. These other 2 clumps, there's plants to be gotten from there. Like a lot of perennials, I feel like Pulmonaria does benefit from division every few years, but it also is okay if you don't do it too. I do it mostly because I want more of it. It's a wonderful deer and rabbit resistant plant for the shade, and I can always use more of those. These were actually divided last year. This is one of the divisions from last year. And you can see it's a nice big looking plant. There's another one kind of hiding back over there. So Pulmonaria has kind of a fibrous type root system. Not fibrous, but it's not like a big, thick, clumpy root system. So I'm actually going in here with my garden fork because I'm not looking to cut any of these roots if I can help it. And I'm going to dig up the entire clump. And I'm just going to gently work the fork around to gradually loosen it out of the soil here. If you have much thicker soil, denser soil than I have here, you could use a spade too. It's a tough plant, it'll be fine. Okay. So here is our plant. This plant has a fairly shallow root system, and you shouldn't need any really aggressive action to divide this. Now, one of the most popular ways to divide a perennial with this kind of root system is actually to stick 2 garden forks in back to back, like through the center, and then you wedge them against each other. I don't know a lot of people who have 2 garden forks though. So by all means, you can do that to separate it. You can also use a bread knife, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do because I don't think in most cases you need any of that, because you can kind of pull this one apart by hand. You can see each chunk here, and I can actually physically just shake this apart. And each one of these that I pull out, so each one of these is a perfectly nice plant. So if you wanted to, you could divide this, and I would guess you'd have 30 plants maybe. That is not what I'm gonna do here. I still want a nice big plant in this spot. I'm just looking for a few more to spread around. So I'm just gonna go in here and kind of shake this gently, kind of gently tease it apart. There's another 3, 4. That was 4 right there. More. Okay, so that's actually where I'm gonna stop. So I've got enough here for 2 new plants or a nice big clump. And that plant that we divided last year actually was more of a clump. It wasn't like an individual, just an individual segment. So this is what we're left with. I'm gonna put this back in the hole. So just a quick note, I am gonna cut back most of this foliage. Now, the one that I divided earlier today, I didn't do it and I left it like that so you could see how the foliage is gonna get a little sad after you do this. Especially now, since I'm dividing this in fall, it's really, not necessary to have this foliage. I will say too that in my experience, lungwort, if it starts to look really wretched, you can fully cut it back and it will reflush in summer with new foliage. And sometimes you need to do that after it flowers. And I'm probably not going to cut back all the foliage. There's some foliage in the center that I will probably leave. And by the way, I could have done this step before we dug it up, but I think it's helpful to see the leaves when you're dividing. It is for me anyway. You don't have to be precious about any of this. And I like to leave some stems sticking up so I don't lose the plant, actually. So I don't stick it in the garden and then forget where it is. And then, of course, crucially important to water everything you're planting, the new one and the old one, in really well. So I could have made individual plants of each of these divisions, and I could have planted those individually straight into the ground. I could have pot them up if I wanted to grow them on before I put them anywhere. But what I'm going to do is divide these two into 2 clumps and create 2 plantings out of these so that I have nice big plants next year as well. That's how you divide Pulmonaria. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. This is a great one to try. I find this to be a very easy perennial to divide. All right, have a great day in your garden. Thank you for your support. Bye-bye.